Like this video to support. Join our YouTube family now and never miss out on epic content, entertainment, and surprises. Hit that subscribe button. Let's start. Spoiler alert.
The movie begins with Pete and Ellie Wagner showing Ellie's sister Kim and her husband Russ a fixer-upper home they are attempting to flip. The latter couple remarks on how run down the place is, and how Pete and Ellie will not want such a facility because they do not intend to have children anytime soon. It leads to an altercation between Ellie and Kim because they have always felt competitive, especially because Kim and Russ are also trying to conceive. Pete returns home from work to find Ellie crying while looking for children in foster care on the internet. Pete doesn't want to see it because he fears he'll be coerced into adopting children, but while Ellie isn't present, he begins to investigate the site himself. The couple later visits a foster care center, where two social workers, Karen and Sharon, advise the prospective parents on how to become adoptive parents. Among them are a religious couple, an LGBT couple, and a woman named October, who wants a black adolescent to become a professional athlete. They also hear from a guest speaker, Brenda Fernandez, who comes in with the parents who adopted her as a teen and saved her from a life of abuse because her birth mother and boyfriend were meth addicts. Brenda's speech convinces the couples to go ahead with the process. The couples are then taken to a fair, where they can approach children they want to adopt. Pete and Ellie pass past the teenagers, and while Ellie expresses reservations about raising a teen, one of the teens, Lizzie, reminds Ellie that they can hear what they are saying. Pete and Ellie chat to Karen and Sharon about perhaps bringing Lizzie in. The social workers inform the couple that Lizzie's mother is a drug addict who is currently incarcerated, and she set fire to their home after leaving the crack pipe lit. It also comes that Lizzie has two younger siblings, Juan and Lita. Pete and Ellie are told that Juan is very sensitive, and Lita is quite rowdy, which is why Lizzie has had to parent them because their mother is never present. Pete and Ellie agree to see the siblings, despite the fact that it appears to be a more difficult task for them. The Wagners visit the children's current foster home, where they live with the Muskies. Ellie sits with Lita and plays a game in which Lita yells racist slurs at her doll, while Pete attempts to play basketball with Juan, only to mistakenly bounce the ball over the hoop and smack Juan in the face, resulting in a bleeding nose. Pete and Ellie attend Thanksgiving dinner with Ellie's family, during which everyone expresses their lack of trust in the Wagners' ability to adopt children. Kim and Russ are especially nasty, implying that the kids Pete and Ellie choose may have had a negative influence on their own children. Ellie has had enough and decided that they will go through with foster care to prove that they are capable parents. Lizzie, Juan, and Lita begin living with the Wagners. Although initially pleasant, things quickly get frantic. Lita only eats potato chips, and Juan is very sensitive to any kind of trouble. Lizzie is also regularly obnoxious toward the Wagners, particularly Ellie. The two routinely attend support groups with other spouses to get advice on what to do with their children. Sandy, Pete's mother, visits to meet the children. She immediately wins them over by taking the entire family to Six Flags. While there, Lizzie flees with two schoolmates. She does not reappear until later, after seeing a movie with her friends, so Ellie punishes her for not alerting her or Pete about her whereabouts. The following day, Lizzie invites the same pals over by crawling in via the window. Ellie enters Lizzie's room to chastise her for this, and one of the girls calls her a Nazi bitch, so she compels them to climb back out the window. Lizzie proceeds to join the girls, which prompts Pete and Ellie to follow her and dispute with her. They are briefly distracted by Juan carrying a nail gun, and when Lizzie begs him to put it down, the youngster drops it and a nail shoots into his foot. The Wagners grab Lizzie's friend's car and rush Juan to the hospital to get the nail removed. Karen and Sharon provide Pete and Ellie remedies for their problems. They demonstrate a way for dealing with Lizzie's outbursts, but Lizzie is already familiar with it, so she continues to act bratty toward Pete and Ellie. However, Juan and Lita begin to warm up to the Wagners. Lita refers to Pete as Daddy when he fixes her doll, while Juan greets Ellie with a good night, Mommy, after she consoles him from a nightmare. Lizzie soon begins to join the other members of the family in their activities. Pete even invites her to the fixer-upper, where they can ruin things for her to vent her emotions. Pete and Ellie subsequently discover that the kids' mother, Carla, has been released from prison for a few months and wants to see them. The Wagners take them to meet Carla, who praises them for looking over them, but Ellie is furious because Carla made it appear as if they were babysitting her children. They express their thoughts about this in group therapy, but the social workers explain that their primary purpose is to keep families together. We also learn that October has discovered a child, although he is short and white with red hair, which reduces the tension in the room. Pete and Ellie ask the Fernandez family for help with Lizzie. They inform the Wagners that Brenda has returned to rehab. Ellie snaps because they were the primary reason they were placed in foster care. But Mrs. Fernandez slaps her and then explains how difficult it is to truly build bonds and trust with the children. After things had cooled down, the Wagners leave. The pair discovers Lizzie taking naked selfies to email to a man at school named Jacob, who sends her a dick shot. When they take the kids to school the next day, they encounter a boy named Charlie, who they confuse for Jacob because Ellie misheard Lizzie mention him earlier. After understanding they're yelling at a kid who isn't Jacob, they're even more shocked when Charlie identifies Jacob as the janitor. Pete and Ellie chase him into school and catch him on a Zamboni. Pete smacks him in the face and Ellie stomps his balls. Jacob, Pete, and Ellie are arrested, leaving Juan and Lita alone in the car, while Lizzie is humiliated. When Pete and Ellie return home, Sandy tells them that they must reaffirm Lizzie that they love her because she does not feel loved. Ellie interprets this as Sandy feeling similarly, which is why she and Ellie have always had a strained relationship. Ellie expresses her love for Sandy, and vice versa, but Sandy instructs the couple to rewrite the statement they drafted for their next court appearance. The Wagners and the children attend a court hearing to determine if the children will return to Carla or remain with Pete and Ellie. The court reads Lizzie's statement, which details what Pete and Ellie have done. Ellie wants to read her revised statement, but the judge does not let it. Carla is then asked if she is ready to resume care of her children. She hesitates on the final question, but declares she's ready to be a mother again. Pete and Ellie begin to pack items for the kids with sadness. Juan and Lita do not want to leave, but Lizzie is prepared. Karen and Sharon arrive at the house to notify Lizzie that Carla is not coming to get them. They went to her residence and discovered that she was still doing drugs, and she went back on her promise to take care of them. Lizzie runs away, heartbroken. Pete and Ellie pursue her as Karen and Sharon monitor Juan and Lita. Lizzie hides in Mrs. Howard's backyard and cries. Pete and Ellie tell Lizzie they love her, but she refuses to admit it. Lizzie rejoins Pete and Ellie once they have returned home. She offers to let Pete and Ellie take Juan and Lita, and she promises to pay her siblings only occasional visits. Pete and Ellie refuse to let this happen and give Lizzie their statement. She understands they genuinely care about her and embraces Pete and Ellie. Mrs. Howard also wants a hug, but Ellie resists, despite Lita's hug. 4 months later, the family attends a fresh hearing. This time, the judge approves Pete and Ellie's legal adoption of the children, and all of the other foster parents, as well as Pete and Ellie's families, are present to support them. Everyone gathers for a large group photograph.
Please make sure that you like, follow, and subscribe to our channel. Check out the other videos if you watched this video all the way through. Cheers.